Eid by Sheikh Dr. Ahsan Hanif. Introduction. Muslims have two religious celebrations in a year. They are called Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, respectively. They're also sometimes known as the small and big Eids. The word Eid means something which returns and is repeated, due to these celebrations returning each year with happiness and joy. When is Eid? Eid al-Fitr literally means the celebration of breaking the fast, and occurs the day after the month of fasting Ramadan, which will be the first day of the 10th Islamic month, Shawwal. Eid al-Adha means the celebration of sacrifice, and it occurs on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. This celebration is also connected to the Hajj pilgrimage. As the Islamic calendar is lunar-based, both Eids are dependent on the sighting of the moon. The wisdom. Eid al-Fitr comes after a long month of fasting in which Muslims discipline themselves and excel in performing many different acts of worship. One of the primary objectives of this month is to seek God's forgiveness and mercy. Thus the celebration comes to rejoice this forgiveness and worship at the end of this month. Eid al-Adha occurs on the day that the pilgrims performing the Hajj pilgrimage return from the standing on the plain of Arafah, where they seek God's forgiveness and mercy. Thus this too is a celebration to rejoice this. For all other Muslims not performing pilgrimage, this Eid is also a reminder of when the Prophet Abraham took his son Ishmael to sacrifice him in response to God's commandment, and he was then substituted with a ram. In commemoration of this, Muslims offer a sacrifice on this day. What we do on Eid. The Eid day is one of celebration, happiness, and joy. There is no specific act of worship on this day except for a prayer and sermon known as the Eid prayer. The Eid prayer is a highly recommended act of worship and one in which the whole family are encouraged to attend. The menstruating woman is also urged to attend and observe, although she will not pray. The Eid al-Adha is also known for the recommended sacrifice which is offered on this day. A person should offer the sacrifice of one sheep for themselves and their family. The meat is distributed to the poor, friends, and family, and the rest is eaten. What is the Eid prayer? The Eid prayer is offered a short time after sunrise on the morning of Eid day. It can be offered in the mosque or outdoors like in a park or hall. The prayer itself is a normal 2-unit prayer offered behind the Imam. The only difference in this prayer is the additional takbirs, Allahu Akbar, made at the beginning of each unit. In the first unit, after saying the Allahu Akbar to begin the prayer, the Imam will say a further 7 times. In the second unit, the Imam will say Allahu Akbar a further 5 times. After the prayer, the Imam will proceed to give a short sermon. Etiquettes of the Eid prayer. It is recommended to bathe before the Eid prayer and wear clean clothes. Men should also perfume themselves. On Eid al-Fitr, one should also eat something before the prayer to signify this is not a day of fasting. On Eid al-Adha, however, one should delay eating until after the prayer, when they preferably eat from their sacrifice, if possible. One should also walk to the prayer if they can, and preferably choose a different road on the way back home. The Eid Takbir. There is also a special remembrance uttered for the 2 Eids. This is known as the Takbir of Eid. For Eid al-Fitr, the timing for the remembrance begins with the sighting of the Eid moon until the prayer. For Eid al-Adha, the timing begins from Fajr on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, also known as the day of Arafah, until sunset on the 13th of Dhul Hijjah. The Eid Takbir is as follows. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. This means God is great, God is great, God is great. None has the right to be worshipped except God. God is great, God is great, and all praise is for God. A reminder for God's favors. Eid is a day in which, as we celebrate with our families and friends, we also remember the many favors and blessings of God upon us. God says, and wants for you to complete the period and to glorify Allah for that which He has guided you, and perhaps you will be grateful. Thus, as we celebrate, we do not engage in prohibited acts while doing so. We also thank God, continue to worship Him, and remember the less fortunate, such as the poor, needy, and those who are ill. God says that they may witness benefits for themselves and mention the name of God on known days.